Fuera. An unprecedented smear campaign against Messi and Argentina's historic victory over a fierce Egyptian side are setting the tone. Amid relentless criticism from those trying to dethrone the king, the 2026 World Cup in the United States and Mexico continues to deliver spectacular football. Fuera. Yet, this also exposes the toxic side of modern soccer. We are seeing an aggressive media campaign filled with absurd, irrational arguments designed solely to discredit the Argentine national team and the legacy of Lionel Messi. Fuera. The defending champions secured an electrifying 3-2 win over Egypt in the round of 16 at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Following this high-tension clash, the haters' resentment peaked. This 2026 World Cup matchup between Argentina and Egypt was an absolute back-and-forth thriller. Fuera. Despite falling 2 goals behind against the African side, the Albiceleste's grit, led by captain Lionel Messi, sealed a spectacular 3-2 comeback. The climax came in the 90th minute when Enzo Fernandez scored a lethal header assisted by Lautaro Martinez, booking their ticket to the quarterfinals. Fuera. But instead of praising the resilience and character of the reigning world champions, the Egyptian coaching staff and players turned the press conference into a stage for bitter complaints and baseless conspiracy theories. Fuera. Egyptian manager Hossam Hassan, a tactician famous for his intense and filtered style, launched direct attacks at FIFA, claiming his squad outplayed the defending champions in every single aspect of the match. Fuera. The strategists pointed to external and internal forces, hinting at a hidden agenda to keep the champions and Lionel Messi in the tournament. Furthermore, the coach born in 1966 claimed that modern soccer is no longer just about sport, alleging that Argentina always receives refereeing favors. Fuera. It is an entirely baseless accusation that attacks both the integrity of the World Cup and the honor of the champions. Egypt's frustration only grew as several players joined their manager's controversial narrative. Fuera. Midfielder Mostafa Siko, who had a goal disallowed in the 57th minute, lashed out at the officials, claiming the refereeing was unfair and that there was a clear agenda against his team. Fuera. They cried match fixing to avoid taking responsibility for the costly defensive blunders that knocked them out in the final minutes. Instead of admitting their mistakes, they chose to blame invisible forces, playing the victim to mask their lack of composure. Fuera. Egypt clung to 2 controversial plays they felt were unfair. But if you and I analyze this together from a tactical perspective, their complaints completely fall apart. The first controversy was that disallowed goal in the 57th minute. Fuera. Mohamed Salah set up Mostafa Siko to beat the Argentine goalkeeper, sparking wild celebrations. However, the video assistant referee stepped in immediately, finding that 30 seconds earlier in the other half, Marwan Attia had clearly fouled Lisandro Martinez. Fuera. By the rules, a goal is disallowed if the play starts with an unpunished foul. The call was completely correct and transparent, even if Egypt found it baffling. The second controversy came during Enzo Fernandez's goal in the 92nd minute. Fuera. Egypt argued that before Argentina's counterattack, Alexis McAllister fouled Hamdi Fathi in the box, and Julian Alvarez then collided illegally with Mohamed Salah. They demanded a penalty, but French referee François Letexier waved play on, ruling it a fair challenge. Fuera. After Enzo Fernandez scored, the video assistant referee carefully reviewed the play and ruled out any Argentine foul. The Egyptian manager's desperation boiled over on the touchline. After receiving a yellow card for protesting, Hassan crossed his arms over his chest. Fuera. That is FIFA's official signal to activate the anti-racism protocol. It was a cheap attempt to weaponize a noble rule of international soccer to pressure the officials. There was absolutely no racism on the pitch. Fuera. It was simply a manager scrambling for excuses after conceding in stoppage time. The chaos on the Egyptian bench resulted in yellow cards for their goalkeeper and a defender, plus a straight red card for their goalkeeper coach. Fuera. Hassan's frustration ended in an epic tantrum, as he declared he would not watch another minute of this World Cup. It was highly unprofessional for a national coach, reflecting a team mentally broken by the strength of the Scaloneta. Fuera. Critics of the Albiceleste love spinning conspiracy theories, claiming the tournament is rigged for Lionel Messi to boost TV ratings. However, they completely ignore one glaringly obvious detail. Fuera. The match was officiated by a European crew led by France's François Letexier. France and Argentina share an incredibly fierce sporting rivalry dating back to the epic 2022 World Cup final, along with several recent clashes across different sports. Fuera. If there were a bias toward Argentina, why assign a French refereeing crew? They have zero incentive to help Messi and company. In fact, the head referee managed the game with ruthless discipline and total impartiality. Fuera. Following formal complaints from the Egyptian Federation, led by Hania Bourrida, FFA, referee-in-chief Pierluigi Collina shut down the doubts with expert authority, explaining that Julian Alvarez cleanly won the ball before colliding with Mohamed Salah. Fuera. The contact happened after Alvarez's legal challenge. It was natural physical collision with no grounds for a foul. The video assistant referee acted correctly by staying out of it, as there was no reason to suggest an on-field review. Fuera. The goal was completely valid. The explanation from the legendary Italian referee, an icon of integrity in the sport, instantly silenced the controversy, reminding everyone that the laws of the game do not bend to emotion. Fuera. The campaign quickly spread from the press room to social media, fueled by toxic fans. Things boiled over when it was announced that 44-year-old Argentine referee Facundo Tello would officiate the quarterfinal match between France and Morocco in Boston. Fuera. Absurd outrage erupted instantly. Rival fans invented ridiculous theories, claiming that appointing an Argentine referee was a scheme to hurt France and clear a path for his home country. Biased takes flooded the internet. Fuera. They claimed FIFA is trying to rig the tournament for Argentina, making cheap jokes that they should just put Messi in the video assistant referee booth. The double standards and bitter resentment from these online users is alarming. Fuera. They stayed silent about the French referee against Egypt, only crying bribery after Argentina won. Yet, when an Argentine referee is assigned to France versus Morocco, a completely unrelated match, they claim it is a master plan for revenge. A total contradiction. Fuera. They forget that Facundo Tello is one of the most respected referees in South America. Intercontinental officiating swaps at the World Cup are perfectly normal to ensure neutrality. Since a Frenchman refereed Argentina, having an Argentine referee France is simply routine business for the committee. Fuera. But through the lens of bias, even routine decisions are labeled fraudulent. This smear campaign has become completely ridiculous, twisting every single detail of the match. Fuera. Now, off the pitch, the FBI is running a preliminary inquiry into the Argentine Football Association's finances in the United States, denting their public image. International outlets report that the Department of Justice subpoenaed businessman Guillermo Tofoni to clarify a flow of over $300 million through companies linked to commercial deals with Adidas and Warner. Fuera. Biased media and critics immediately tried to sway public opinion, deliberately attempting to link this financial investigation to how Messi and his teammates perform on the pitch during this World Cup. Fuera. Let us look at the facts with absolute objectivity. At its core, this process is merely a civil and financial inquiry into the commercial and international business dealings of the Argentine Federation over the past few years. Fuera. This has absolutely nothing to do with the tournament itself or the players on field. Regarding the legal situation, top Argentine outlets like La Nación and Infobae confirm there are no criminal charges, indictments, or evidence accusing AAA President Claudio Chiquitapia or other board members of any wrongdoing. Fuera. It is standard legal routine for a major sports organization to face financial audits when operating in the United States, a country with strict economic regulations. Yet, those wishing to cause harm are framing this as proof that the Argentine squad is completely corrupt. Fuera. They want to capitalize on this, creating a hostile environment around Messi to damage team morale. These are desperate tactics from those who cannot beat Argentina tactically on the pitch, so they try to disrupt them off it with groundless accusations. Fuera. Analyzing the chain of events, from manager Hossam Hassan's complaints and the Egyptian Football Association's protests, to bar conspiracy theories and the exaggerated FBI situation, one factor stands out: the frustration of critics who simply cannot accept the absolute dominance of Lionel Messi and his reigning champions. Fuera. Elite football thrives on intense debate and pressure. Yet, We rarely witness such a relentless media campaign targeting a defending champion, especially one playing an impeccable level after delivering a historic, legendary comeback that will be remembered for generations. Fuera. Critics still question Messi's talent and massive trophy cabinet. It clearly frustrates detractors to see this squad, even when down by 2 goals and against the ropes, fight back to win. These weak narratives will fade, leaving only Enzo Fernandez's world-class strike in the history books. Fuera. Lionel Messi's genius and this squad's unbreakable resolve, completely immune to outside pressure, prove that off-pitch drama only elevates the king. Expect their iron determination to be firmly cemented as they look to dominate this 2026 World Cup.